call the police and tell them what?
It's your
Tell them
choice.
that you're about to pull a gun on us.
And they will believe you too. That's the typical shit you would do. You gonna call the police and tell them I pulled out a gun on you. And you gonna go with that shit too, right? Y'all gonna back up with this shit?
All black people are impulsive, lazy.
Well, I guess to put it simply, we don't. There's a lot of stereotypes out there. And there are some white people that do have hate.
At this point, the only way that I can harbor any sort of respect for a black person is if they prove in some sort of way that they aren't completely obsessed with being black. I've been a grown-ass man for long enough to know that there is absolutely nothing a black person can teach me. I don't care to view history through your black lens. I don't care to be enlightened to your overly skewed, overly warped.
So my good people, I want you to watch this video. It is so powerful that there's something here you guys are going to learn today. Kindly watch till the end and I'll be back with more commentaries shortly.
Excuse me, sir. I have a question for you. What do you do every day to dismantle systemic racism for your black queen?
Wait, I'm trying to see something. I'm trying to see something.
Every day?
Yeah, or at least a week or a month or something.
I mean, I try to educate myself as much as I can.
Okay, I love that's a great answer.
Sorry?
Heads or tails?
Tails.
Coin flip on shuffle. Okay, I'm gonna listen. Okay, go ahead. You say some more.
You know, I know there's never going to be a complete understanding on my behalf, but I can do everything I can to, you know, understand what it's like to be a black person in the United States the best I can. You know, there's never going to be a concrete answer as to how I can relate, but I can do what I can to understand and kind of look at it through your guys' lens as to what your lives are like here and do my best to be an advocate.
That's a decent answer, Queen. That's decent. That's decent. I ain't gonna lie, that's decent. You still gotta, you ain't really giving me an answer, but you were saying, you know, you're willing to learn, which I do appreciate, you know, but we need more, I need more action though, you know what I mean? I need, yeah, that's all, I need more action, but Queen, I usually do this with a lot of white men, and they don't give me an answer at all. So for you to say I'm willing to learn.
I mean, I'm willing to learn, but I'm already actively learning.
Yeah,
so.
But I need you front line, you know what I'm saying? Like, are you willing to, for your queen, you know what I'm saying?
So far.
So far?
Pretty much willing to do anything, yeah.
Exactly, I love that, Queen. How you feel about the answer, Black Queen?
I mean, I'd already been doing my research,
yeah.
So I was already
aware. It was a pretty early question.
Yeah, no, we've talked about
we
it
talked,
before.
okay.
Like, it is hard as a black woman,
yes.
like dating outside of my race,
yes.
like wanting or feeling comfortable in our connection, for it just being like a connection between us, yeah. And not because I'm black,
yes.
Or whatever. But no, I feel like,
you know, you seem very powerful, Queen, so I definitely, you know, your judgment, yeah, and you know what, keep learning, okay?
Yeah, I will.
Because I love our black queens, all right?
Yeah.
They need to be safe and feel protected.
Absolutely.
And when a black man come up to you, you gotta stand your ground, which you kind of did, so I love that, okay?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm gonna do everything I can, right? Yeah.
All right, what's your name?
Logan.
All right, nice to meet you, Logan.
Nice to meet you too.
Thank you, Queen.
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
Have a good night.
You too.
At this point, the only way that I can harbor any sort of respect for a black person is if they prove in some sort of way that they aren't completely obsessed with being black. I've been a grown-ass man for long enough to know that there is absolutely nothing a black person can teach me. I don't care to view history through your black lens. I don't care to be enlightened to your overly skewed, overly warped view of things like slavery, which is really just rooted in your need for an excuse. You know, the whole Anthony Johnson this, transatlantic slave trade that. I don't see what any of that has to do with how you are now. The whole like white people invented racism. It's just like, it's so below me. All right. Like, because when it comes to what we did invent, all right, we invented the railroad. We invented the internet. We're establishing the foundations of interplanetary travel. Like, I mean, it's just like white people, we have bigger fish to fry than to sit here and listen to how you think slavery is an adequate excuse as to why you can't be trusted with a self-checkout line.
Oh my gosh. Nah, listen, I feel him, and I think that people have a right to feel however they want to feel. And that's one of the beautiful things that, you know, is great about being in the United States of America. I think that for a while now, white people have been silenced and villainized. And honestly, I don't even know why white people are being held up as the litmus by which we judge ourselves, because they are pretty much in the same boat that we are here in the US, and that they don't have a greater income level as a group than we do, or it's not much greater than what we make, right? If you look at the census and you look at who makes the most when it comes to household income, it's Indians and Asians, to be honest with you. And so after I did the research on a lot of different issues, and even going back historically to try to figure out where the participation was of Black people or Africans, even in the transatlantic slave trade, it changed my perspective, because it was like, okay, wait a minute. We needed affirmative action at the time that we got affirmative action. We needed to abolish slavery. We actually were a conservative Republican people, and Republicans are the ones that got rid of slavery. And even when you have that conversation with Black people, sometimes it's like, but they only did it because, it's like, yo, we are in 2026 as of the recording of this video. At what point do we let it go? You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not saying let it go as far as not teaching what happened in history, because history is important. But at what point do we let it go to where we don't use that as an excuse as to why we can't be trusted in the self-checkout line, right?
Black people that get on the radio every day in white-owned companies, white-owned stations with white-owned sponsors that play the role of hypersexualized, hypercriminalized male. I ask these advertisers, I say, I've got hundreds of songs a day that celebrate killing animals. Will you put them on your station? They said, no. I got hundreds of songs a day that talk about assaulting women and abusing kids. Would you put them on your station? They said, no. I said, I got hundreds of songs a day that talk about murdering blacks. Would you put them on your stations? They said, well, that depends. Depends on what? Who it's done by and who it's branded for. Because if we can get Black folks to sing about it, we can brand it for our youngest Black audiences, I think there's money to be made. I think there's American appetites to see these people that way. I said, how can you say that? They said, well, look, it's what these artists know. It's what they, Black people, create. It's, matter of fact, our surveys say it's what they want to hear, which speaks of a sickness. How do we live in a society where somebody says, you know what, I'm inspired to write a song that celebrates murdering another person. And then a person says, I'd like to put that on my station. Another person said, I'd like to pay for it. And then there's people out here in the audience that go, I'd love to hear it, as long as it's Black guys. Because even white people buy rap music, buy this type of stuff, because we know that when we want to hear about killing each other, we know who to turn to for that type of inspiration. We call it our music. We say we own it. White people buy more rap than Black people. Yeah, but we're very careful to turn it down at the stoplight when other Black people are there. Why? Because we know we're just pretending. For them, it's more authentic and real. I always ask the companies, what about your name? What about your brand? What about your value? And the largest radio company in the world said this: it's okay that we only have drug dealers on our Black youth stations. We only have murders on our Black youth stations. We support Black charities. We give out water at the Martin Luther King parade. I think we've got it covered. We bought them off. Now, people get upset, the smartest guys in the room again. You're talking about censorship. I don't believe that. I believe in free art. Make whatever you want. I believe you should make music about anti-Semitism. I believe you should make music about killing dogs. I believe in this country you should make music about bashing homosexuals and driving them behind trucks. I believe you should make music about stringing people up on trees. I believe you should make music about killing whitey. I believe you should make all that music. But I also believe that in the mainstream marketplace, people should hesitate associating their name with certain content. You know, there's certain stuff you can't buy at the store. Certain stuff you can't get on iTunes because their brand doesn't want it. But if you want to hear Black people celebrating killing Black people, they got thousands and thousands and thousands of those things to sell you. I don't think it's about censorship. I think it's about American cultural hypocrisy. Because here's the truth. These Black entertainers, they can't sing just about anything. There's some stuff that'll get them fired, and they get dropped, and they get fired, and they get slapped on the wrist, and they get disciplined all the time. Why? Because sometimes they step over the bounds. A very famous case is what happened with Rick Ross. Rick Ross is the Mammy Two Shoes, one of the many Mammy Two Shoes of our day. He's a Black entertainer in a world carved out for him, and a role carved out for him by white entertainment companies. And one day he talked about, in the middle of a song that celebrated dealing drugs and killing Blacks, he made a reference to date rape. And when he made that reference to date rape, that set social media on fire. That got 100,000 petitions in 24 hours. Hey buddy, date rape is no joke. That had white people standing outside of Reebok in New York saying, you better take this seriously. We're tired of a rape culture in America. One line in one song moved the masses. And you know what Reebok did? Did they stand by him and say, hey, we believe in freedom of speech. We believe in freedom of expression. It's just a song. Calm down. No, they fired his tail on the spot. The president came out and said, this goes against our high standards. He's gone against the values of our brand. Shame on Rick Ross. We're disappointed. He doesn't know how serious date rape is. And when I saw that, I thought, wow, how convenient. Isn't that amazing? But here's what really happened. It's not their brand, it's not their values. Rick Ross went off script. He was hired to get black customers, and they think that black customers go with black bait. And in America, black bait is the hyper-criminalized, hypersexualized portrayal of black people. And as long as he had sung about that, the stuff that got him hired, he still have a job at Reebok. But when he touched other sensitivities that affect us, he lost his job. See, the truth is, it's not they that need to change. It's we that need to change. We created the lies. We created them for our profit. We own the companies. We own the record labels. We own the advertisers, and we keep putting it out. And it's this that's got to change. I thought about it. You know what? I wonder if White Mike could get anybody's attention on this. So I stood outside of a Walmart, and I said, hey, I don't think killing cops and killing blacks is very cool. And you know what? It only took 7 weeks of Mike standing out there, and they wrote a letter and said, yeah, we don't think it's cool either. We're going to pull our name off of that. The largest retailer in the world had never considered that maybe their commercial shouldn't be right before or after a song about young black men being gunned down. And I realized this, that black murder is normal, but it should not be. And I realized the importance at the coffee table, at every headline, every pastor's gathering, every family gathering to say, you know what, these black lives matter. It's not just another black kid. These are human beings. I'm doing my best in every way, shape, and form. Talks like this everywhere I can go to say, you know what, I was born in a world where black murder was normal. My kids were born into a world where black murder is normal, but I don't want to die in a world where black murder is normal. Am I 5 years or 10 years away? I don't know, but I'm screaming as high as I can. Let's feel this pain and let's lift our voice to tell the lies. They are not criminals, they are not deviants, and their lives are just as important as ours. Thank you very much.
I love it when white people, particularly white men, speak the truth about other white folk and warn us black people not to trust white folk. Take a look at this white ally right here. It's very powerful.
So I want to talk about this Nolan Wells story that's unfolding down in Mississippi, about the one black kid who was hanging out with white boys and who ended up losing his life. From the perspective of a white boy who grew up at the country club, I think the biggest piece of advice that I would give anybody, doesn't matter what the color of your skin is don't trust white people, right? Any white person who is giving off conservative vibes, do not trust them, right? Because I've met enough of them up until this point in my life, and I'm 43, where they're very clever at disguising the conservative parts of themselves and their ideology, where, in my opinion, they're the most dangerous people to be around because they're incredibly calculating into how they view the world around them, right? And I think there are a lot of people who are trying to, especially in this economy, like trying to level up. Like I remember a couple of years ago where like the corporate girlies, you know, is a trend on TikTok where the corporate girlies are like, well, yeah, I'm in the middle class, but I'm looking to level up. I'm looking to land a Wall Street banker or a consultant or a trust fund baby like a fucking Kennedy and level up. Now look, can some physically attractive women level up? Sure. But if you're a man listening to this idea that you are going to level up by building up a social network, whether it's through golf or through your job or, you know, through the people that you meet in your community, it's not going to happen. Right? Like I have some buddies who have joined country clubs thinking that they're going to level up, where it's like, yeah, I can scrape together 50K with this idea of meeting people that like allow them to level up. It's not how rich people work, right? Rich people only will create value for the people underneath them if you can give them something that they can't buy, right? You need to solve rich people's problems that are separate from money, and that's not easy to do. And I'll get out of here with this, right? Like if you leave this TikTok viewing every white person that's giving off conservative vibes, you know, looking at them a second time, right? Like, because your instinct is right. It's like, there's something sketch about this person. I'm not getting on that boat with those white dudes. Like, there's something mischievous and dark about those white boys. But I'll get out of here with this. You ever watch the Netflix show Outer Banks? So you have like the poor kids, the pogues, and the rich kid, the kooks. So there's one black kid who's a country club kid, right? And this is the one sort of socioeconomic dynamic that is important. If you're born into money as a non-white person, the color of your skin is transcended by your access to capital and your access to powerful people within your community because you have generational wealth, right? If you're a black kid who grew up at the country club and you were drawing from a trust fund, or, you know, you have your college education fully paid for, and you're the type of kid where, like, you know, when you graduate, your parents are giving you like, you know, $300K to put down as a down payment on your house. Now the color of your skin doesn't matter, right? Now I don't know the full story about this kid down in Mississippi, but the vibes that I'm getting are that he did not come from money, right? So again, if you were trying to level up, as a man, it's not going to happen. Right, so just be careful, bye.
Charlie Kirk once said that the black community was better off than we are now.
This shows they were actually better in the 1940s. But what happened? Something changed.
And he was entirely right. And here's why.
Charlie Kirk said black men like you were better off during slavery. Do you agree with him?
Wait,
you were
after
better
slavery, let me
you're
explain,
saying
because
you would
maybe
be
you don't
better
know
off
black history.
during slavery.
No, you don't understand black history, and you don't understand what Charlie was saying. Listen, after slavery, there was an explosion of success in the black community. We had Black Wall Street. We were married to the women we had children with. Black people had a tremendous amount of success. Our success was growing faster than white people during that period of time. Now look at us. Now go look at any inner city in this country, and you see people getting murdered every weekend.
Yes, many black Americans are unaware today that after slavery ended during the Reconstruction period, black Americans went on to build prosperous cities all around America known as Black Wall Streets, where we owned all the land and we owned every business and home on that land. These cities were completely self-sufficient. Our money circulated 9 or 10 times in our own economy before it ever left. These cities would have been valued at billions of dollars today, with multiple black entrepreneurs that would have been considered millionaires by today's standard. We built the American dream for ourselves, even facing segregation and oppression. And do you know what happened? White mobs from the Democratic Party came and destroyed Black Wall Street within 24 hours. Yes, Democrats destroyed the black wealth and self-sufficiency, only for a few years later for Democrat President FDR to offer the first welfare system, and we took it. You know why? For survival. For the first time in history, the majority of black Americans voted Democrat, and this was for survival reasons. But nobody ever talks about this. We never recovered, and we were never able to build back our self-sufficiency and independence because all of our insurance claims were denied by the insurance company aligned with the Democratic Party.
All black people are impulsive, lazy.
All black people are impulsive and lazy. I'm pretty sure it is not all black people that are impulsive and lazy, right? That's a racist stereotype. This is a white Christian nationalist. He's also a pastor, although he's not really preaching the good word. I feel like he's preaching a lot of hate. Can't believe you call yourself a pastor without preaching the word of love, but okay. There is a whole endless list of black people, successful black men and women, kings and queens out here doing the business, okay? We're not all lazy and we're not all impulsive. In fact, here are some of my favorite black accomplished people out there. Barack Obama and Michelle Obama, the first black male president and the first black woman to be the first lady. Breonna Daniels, y'all know that I did a video on her a while back. She's the first black woman to work in a NASCAR pit stop. Victor Glover, the first black astronaut to pilot the Artemis II. You know that new space mission that's trying to go to the moon right now? Yeah. And what about the college graduates? What about all these people? Are they lazy? I just don't think you should be saying that all black people are lazy and impulsive. It's racist, which I'm sure he doesn't care because he's a white Christian nationalist. So what does my opinion even mean to him? Don't let these people bring you down. You know who you are inside. We need to stay united. And if you like that kind of thing, follow me to join this beautiful growing community of non-hateful people. And spread love everywhere you go.
People, you listening? I'm not that thirsty of a person to just believe anything that somebody tell me, but I am thirsty enough to drink this entire bottle of hot sauce. So if you're able to prove to me why it is that there's a very good chance that what this man said is the truth.
When liberals look at the people in ghettos, they say, racism. That's why they're not succeeding. And Soul is saying, no, it's not. Because if you look at this group from the West Indies, they also came from the experience of slavery. They are also black, so they also face racism, and yet they do well. So it has to be something else. And then what Soul is saying is that they were robbed of their culture, and so they picked up the culture of the people around them, and the people around them were rednecks. And if you look at the white redneck culture and the black redneck culture, they have a lot of the same values. They don't particularly respect education. They love Jesus. They use violence in their conflicts. And even Ebonics, which is, black English, is actually all from the west of England.
It took a white man to tell me. He says, how is it when a black man kill a black man, it's not really outrage?
Yeah.
But when a white man kills a black man, it's going to start a riot.
The American media has manipulated the narrative of crime. Black on black crime is a made up thing. You have never heard white on white crime. Never heard the Asian on Asian crime. They've tried to fraction and compartmentalize us to feel as if where the crime is where we are.
Go ahead.
The lead murderers in America are white men. The lead robbers in America are white men. The largest amount of rapists are white men. The highest number of domestic abusers is white men. The highest number of arrested pedophiles is white men. The greatest number of drug dealers arrested is white men. But if you ask the average American who are the proponents of crime, there's a black face to it. They're now trying to create this narrative that the immigrants are bringing into crime because they never want to own up to what it is that they have done. Part of our responsibility is to pull the sheets off. We had a shooting here in Georgia not long ago. A young man named Colt, 14 years old, went shot up his high school. His father's now being charged. Can you imagine what conversation me and you would be having if Colt was black and Colt's black father gave him a gun? The television, the internet would explode on the irresponsibility of black fathers, on why it is that young black men have guns and are carrying guns. It has always shifted to make black men feel hyper-aggressive, hypersexual, and hyper-criminalized. It's part of a larger, historic, original sin of America that always criminalizes and points their fingers at black men when it's absolutely not true. The overwhelming majority, Cam, of black men who are under penal supervision are under penal supervision for nonviolent offenses. They're on ankle bracelets, home monitors, on parole, on probation, for possession, not for distribution. It may not sound like it's significant, but it's very meaningful. And so that's why it is that we've got to ask the hard and the difficult questions. Where is criminal justice in America? And is justice just us?
Look, I'm a white man. I want to get my perspective on racism. I've been getting so much of it in the comments lately from white people. White people tend to speak differently when it's only white people in the room. And my whole life, even since I was young, when I heard that shit, it was disgusting to me. I would hear it and be like, why do y'all speak like that? Why would y'all think it's such a... Where's this hatred coming from? When I see racist white people and I hear things they have to say, I'm ashamed to be the same race as y'all. I just feel kind of disgusted sometimes when I hear, I'm like, what? Because I can never relate to you. It's the way white people feel like they're so right when they say these things. Like they really, really believe these things from the core. That's what bothers me the most. I created this TikTok to do entertainment. And during me doing the entertainment, I've been getting so much hate because I am in an interracial relationship. So now I decided to use my platform to stand for something. Stand to get something. Y'all white people have no reason to feel supreme. No reason to feel better than me. No reason to look down on people. We are all the same. We all bleed the same blood. We're all born from the same way. Stand against y'all. It's time.
I guess to put it simply, we don't. There's a lot of stereotypes out there. And there are some white people that do have hate. And it's usually because of a stereotype that they think all people are the same and they dislike that. But the theory that all white people are that way is also a stereotype. So we got to be careful about stereotypes, and we got to be careful about what we listen to and what we believe, because a lot of it's not true. Take care.
White people, answer this question for me. I need to know if this is a rumor or do y'all really think this way? And it's something that I've heard before, but at the time I really didn't think much of it, but now I figured I'd just ask. So my question is, white people, do a lot of y'all really think all black people look alike? I just want to know.
Call the police and tell them what?
It's your choice. Tell them that you're about to pull a gun on us.
And they will believe you too. That's the typical shit you would do. You gonna call the police and tell them I pulled out a gun on you. And you gonna go with that shit too, right? Y'all gonna back up with this shit?
You can tell how racist a white person is by how hard they pronounce the B in black when they're talking about black people. Okay, so if they say black people, first of all, if they say black people, they're probably okay. If they say African Americans, they're possibly okay. They're probably trying to ensure that they're not being racist about saying. Yeah, when a white person says African American, it's usually because they're not comfortable saying black people, and so they're trying to be politically correct and ensure everyone knows that they're not racist because they don't know if saying black people is racist or not. And, you know, I get that. It's a little confusing. It's still confusing within our own community. Some black people are like, no, black people. Some people are like, no, we're African American. So the ticket is still out on black people versus African American for a lot of folks. So if they say African American, you know, give them a pass. They're trying their best. If they say black people, then you know you start. First of all, if they're really racist, they won't even say black people. They'll say blacks with an extra hard B. And so once they drop off the people and add the, like we are the cats or the dogs or the bears or the giraffes, like they start like that it others so much further than when they say blacks. I don't like when they say blacks because it takes away the people and it makes it seem like some sort of inanimate object like blacks. But when they say the blacks, it's like, you know, that they feel like we're not even humans at that point. They're saying the rocks, the grass, the trees. They're saying the blacks. So when you have the and then the extra hard B, the blacks. Yeah, you're racist. So just, you know, keep an eye out for how hard white people are pronouncing the B in blacks, and you can your racism radar should go every time they hit a hard B in blacks.
And so, as you have just seen it all, you know, that is, it always takes one person to change the entire story. Like, remember very well, there is this white man who is trying to educate the other white people about racism, okay? And then he's trying to tell them that, you know, this is something that is like a culture that we have always been, you know, we have always been there to create. And also, you know, white people are sometimes, most of them, some of them, not most, some of them are always like, you know, ignoring these things, you know, and they take it lightly. And, you know, trying to act as if black people are not humans. That's very, very bad. And, you know, that's something that really keeps on annoying black people. And in that particular end, you find out that this thing that we call racism all the time, you know, just, you know, ignoring black people because they look like, you know, you have just heard some people saying some nonsenses there. That is something that should be avoided at all costs, you know. And it's so shameful to see up to this year, that is 2026, some things are still happening. Remember, these videos, some of these videos are old. They were taken back then, but still same thing gives the same message to the current event that many people are still acting, you know. So let me know, guys, what you think about this particular video, and let me know what you guys think should change, or what do you think should actually change in this particular case. And I'll be happy to know your what you think, and write me in the comment section below. And also remember, this video is for educational and creating awareness, and credits belongs to the original creators of these videos that you've just seen it here. So I'll be ending here by just telling you thank you for watching. And also, guys, if it's the first time watching this video, kindly do subscribe and give it a like. And that's how we do it here. Stay tuned. We have another video which is coming very soon. Bye bye for now.